There we go. There we go. What the heck, bro? There we go. Um, pop, 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 pop. Shoot. Well, we'll see how that goes. All right. I want to thank the ATFers for being here. I appreciate you being patient while I set up. I'm almost good to go here. So I won't have to appreciate you too much. I'll just appreciate you the necessary amount, but not too much, you know. But that's a good thing. That means like, cause I don't want to overstay my ATF status, you know. I'm not really making the most sense right now, cause it's very early for me. It's almost 11. um, Dang, I've had coffee, I have soda and everything, and I still feel like I barely rolled out. Man, I don't know why it's taking me a while. I didn't get good sleep. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. All right. Every minute. Oh, I'm on the wrong lyric. Never mind. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Look out. I'm gonna get you. I'm not gonna do that. I've been hearing a lot of other creators have been getting hit with even humming songs. Now, I kind of don't believe them. Joe Rogan goes crazy if people do that on the podcast. If people do that with him, him and Jamie will start acting. Oh man, they'll like actually get upset with people. But I do that all the time. There's like not a stream that I do where I'm not like humming or singing something, and I never, I haven't experienced issues from that. Now every once in a while, I'll play something. Every once in a while, I'll get crazy and I'll put the headphones up. Like last time, I was bumping some Key Sweat through the headphones. And then I got that notification. I got that knock on the door. No monies. No money for you. And then I had to block it out. What's up, Disco Goldfoot? Good to see you, man. I feel like I'm going to be seeing a couple different people that maybe I don't get to see too often. Hit some different time zones, Get a little bit frisky. Good to see you, man. Come on. Hopefully I'm hitting some people at work. Help you out in those earbuds, while you're doing your thing. Danny B. Belfast. Danny Belfast in the chat. I love it, man. I don't even know where Belfast is, but it sounds cool. That's cool, man. And come on, still that fast. Heck yeah. Stemaka. Official. Fart when people hug you. It makes them feel strong. Yeah, but it makes my lady mad. She's like, how come you had to do that right now? I said, this is even better than pulling someone's finger. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's like a defense mechanism. CJ Wolf, MMA Truthers. Unite, bro. Andrew HR, yo, Jay, I'm about to get Taco Bell. Perfect timing. Ooh, what's on the menu? If it was me, dude, I could never resist those chicken quesadillas, bro. I don't even know what that sauce is called. I probably don't want to know. I kind of like the mystique to it. But that sauce that they put in there, dude, I just want them to give me a cup on the side. Just even like, maybe like I'm on a diet every once in a while. Maybe I can't eat the tortillas or whatever. Just give me a little sipperino, dude. Give me a little pup cup. That sauce is so good, dude. I like the chicken quesadillas. I like the little soft potato tacos. The Mexican pizza, you can't go wrong with that, bro. Taco Bell went wrong. Taco Bell went wrong when they got rid of it. Makes no sense, dude. During the coronavirus, during COVID, that's when they got rid of the Mexican pizza. When everybody was scared and everything was in disarray and people were confused and people needed comfort, that's when you take it away. People needed comfort and then you take away my comfort. Comfort food? Hello? I never hear anything else more combined with the word comfort than food. And that's what you're going to take away when we need comfort the most? Made no sense, man. It was kind of like Tomas Aspinall saying, I can't see, I'm blind, I can't fight, I can't train, I can't defend my title, I can't be active, I can't do anything. Oh, wait, Gain and Pereira already fought? And so I don't have to fight Pereira now? And John Jones is inactive? All right, my eyes are better. I can fight now. That's the same thing that Taco Bell did during the COVID. You guys are scared right now? The world is in panic? You need comfort? Okay, no Mexican pizza for you. It's gone. Wait, COVID's over? They voted already? The election's over? Okay, now we'll bring back the Mexican pizza. What? Where was it when I needed it? I mean, don't get me wrong. I still need it, and I'll still get it. But where was it when I needed it? How does it go? When I needed you most. Where's ARJR when I need him to know my song references? Well, you left me just when I needed you most. That's, you know. So anyway, Andrew, chicken quesadilla, soft potato taco, Mexican pizza. Can't go wrong with the nacho fries, right? By the way, I'm feeling litigious. Long before Taco Bell introduced the cheese fries, the nacho fries, I remember, so I had another channel, and I used to stream a lot on that channel. And on that stream, I introduced the world to how there was these two different places. Well, one of them was Taco Bell, obviously. But where I used to live, I used to do this all the time. I would go get these French fries from one place, and then I would go to Taco Bell specifically for the nacho cheese. I would go through the drive-thru, and I would just say, hey, can I get like 4 cups of nacho cheese? And they almost called the authorities. They didn't believe me. They thought that it was a prank. They didn't even know how to charge me. But I would go and just ask for cheese. And then I would dip my fries in the cheese. And then what do you know? Not too long after that, boom, nacho cheese fries. You guys are trying to call me out on it, trying to get me busted. And now it's your number one product. Interesting. I could have paid off my student loans with that. Did you see Jiri bathing with nettles? Yeah, Regor, dude, if there's anybody that hasn't got off the Jiri train yet. Now, look, if you like him because he's like a Tekken character or like a movie character and you like the freak show, cool, man. But you know how many people got upset with me? I'm talking about genuinely. Okay, so look, I predicted that Volkanovski was going to be Lopez when the whole world was saying Volkanovski was going to lose because he's an old man or whatever. I predicted that Gaethje was going to be Pimblett when everyone was saying that Gaethje was too old and Pimblett was too big. And I was the one that predicted that Gain was gonna beat Pereira when everyone said no, there's just too much aura, bro. There's no way. I was the one that predicted that Hoke was gonna be Blades when everyone thought he was a hype train and he was gonna get exposed. I was the one that predicted that Hoke would beat Derek Lewis when everyone was like, he's a semi-truck, he's a knockouts leader, there's no way he's gonna get fraud checked. And I was like, yo, see, I was the one that predicted that Gaethje was gonna beat Ilya when everyone thought that it was a foregone conclusion. But out of all of those, and there's a lot more, but we don't have time for that today. I started the joke. I'm just kidding. There's one person here that gets that. I told everybody that Oberg was going to beat Jiri. By the way, like the worst champion ever, huh? Like I forgot he was champion. It's like, it's a secret. I don't know. Anyway, he should take a Josh Hokett class, a Josh Hokett seminar. I predicted that Oberg was going to beat Jiri. And that was like if I was hurling racial slurs or something like that. That was crazy. The pushback that I got on that one. People were so upset. It was like some kind of a violation. People were mad at me for that one. And I tried to let him know. I mean, and he's one of the biggest parts of Alex Pereira's resume. I can't get over Alex Pereira's resume or the lack thereof. I mean, it's filled with people like Jiri. Jiri two times, dude out there beating himself senseless. Jiri's out there naked and afraid, beating himself senseless with some cactus. What is wrong with this guy? He's like, this is all I have left. This is all That's it. He's on Pereira's resume twice. Then you got Jamal Hill. Then you got Blachowicz, which people don't even think Pereira beat. He loses to Uncle. I mean, let's not get into that again, man. Let's not get into that again. I was going to talk a little bit about Pereira today, but I got to give the credit. There's a channel that I scrolled across recently. No Bromo MMA. And he released a video the other day. And I wanted to make sure if I even talked about the Pereira thing that I mentioned that channel, because he's the dude that made the whole thing about it. And if you want to know about what happened with Pereira and this whole seminar thing, you should go watch that dude's video. Because as far as I'm aware, he's the only dude that has attacked it in the way that he did pretty comprehensively. So I didn't want to come on here talking about it, all the ins and outs, like if, it's my thing. But he made a video about it, and it doesn't look good. Alex Pereira, he really does seem like a bad guy. A really bad guy. And I think, people loved him and he messed up, man. He was really riding that wave of stoicism. And a lot of the time where people put their, it's when they put their big old pata in their mouth and people start to have second thoughts about them and kind of find a lot of pockets where they disagree with them is when they start talking too much, man. That's why it's hard for somebody like me and what I do. And I know I brought this upon myself. Nobody forced me to be a YouTuber. Nobody forced me to talk for a living. But it's unfortunate, bro. It's unfortunate. Before I started being a YouTuber, I was stoic. I used to be stoic. And I lost that. You can't be a YouTuber and be stoic, bro. You got to pick one. You can't have your cake and ice cream. It doesn't work. You get that social diabetes. It's too much. It's overwhelming. You overwhelm the people. You send mixed signals. You seem fake. So you got to choose a path. And Pereira has chosen his path. He started doing all those collabs with Nina Chama. He started doing all those gambling sponsorships. Now he's going on his world tour about smoking that herb Dean Green. And I saw Big John McCartney and Josh Thompson and that other MMA dude that Kobe Covington told to do push-ups, that journalist guy. I feel bad. I don't remember his name. He always used to wear that bright blue shirt. And now, I don't know. He got a stain on it or something. I don't know. But, and that's not a fat joke. But, one of the things that they were saying was, I think it was Big John McCartney. It was Josh Thompson or Big John McCartney. And they were like, is he ruining his legacy? Is he ruining his legacy by crying and going on and on and on about smoking that herb Dean Green? And the dude, again, the MMA dude, please let me know if somebody knows his name. He was like, I don't know if he's ruined his legacy, but I forgot how he worded it. He said something like he's kind of ruining the way that people perceive him, though. Because that was the reason he was so cool, because of his stoic nature. Somebody said, I was scrolling the other day and I saw in the comments, I thought it was hilarious. And I wish I remember who it was so I could give him credit. Someone said that he was like that dude from Night at the Museum. What's his name? Where he goes, his name Dum Dum? Dum Dum wants some gum gum. It was like, that was the most Pereira would ever talk. Chama, chama, chama. And it's just too much now. Like that was all he had. Aura and intimidation and just like being that presence. And he's just destroyed it now. He's made himself look like a crybaby. And he keeps saying, but this ain't about me. I'm not trying to appeal the fight. It's not about me. It's for the next generation. You don't care, bro. And look, I'm not. Man. It gets a little bit tricky when you start talking about certain topics. And I touched on it a stream or 2 or 3 ago. That Alex Pereira's been accused of some of the same things that Conor McGregor's been accused of. And Gable Stevenson. But people don't care about that because Pereira kept winning. And he kept looking cool. And he kept being that stoic dude. And the marketing was right. One of the things that he was allegedly accused of, in addition to what Conor McGregor was full-blown accused of, was stalking. And I mean, it's hard to not believe all victims when he's out here stalking Ariel. I mean, it seems like it because of how much, but when he's out here stalking Herb Dean, he's still stalking. This is like the squeakquel. Alex Pereira still stalking. He's up to his old habits. All his stories, he's like a scorned lover. It's crazy, man. He's calling Herb Dean in the middle of the night. Breathe. He just breathes and then he hangs up. And then I saw a video the other day. I think the UFC uploaded it. It was like one of those ones, you know how they do like with the NBA or whatever sometimes. They'll release a video that just shows footage like body cams from like the referees and stuff like that, give you a close-up. For years, Dana White was like, Herb Dean's the best. He's the best referee. He's the best. He's amazing. He's the standard. And then in that video at UFC Freedom 250, the camera picked up Dana White telling Donald Trump that Mark thinks he's Goddard. He goes, he's the best referee. He's the best. Wow, the most horrible time for Herb Dean to see that news, man. No wonder he's smoking that Herb Dean Green. He's trying to disassociate. For years, he's held that place in Dana White's enlarged heart. And now, Mark thinks he's Goddard. Handing the title over to a Brit, to a red coat at the White House. On camera. I thought body cam footage only got these officers caught up. Now Dana White, that's messed up, man. First time ever they interviewed Dana White, and they're like, what do you think about it? Do you think it's time for Herb Dean to retire? And he's like, I don't know. You know what I say when they start talking about retirement? He was always standing by that dude. Can a black man stop a fight late? Huh? Can a black man do a late stoppage? Huh? How about that? Dana White? Ooh, looks bad now. Dana what? Dana White? Can a black man do some late stoppages? Dana White? Doesn't look so good, Dana White. If you ask me, can a black man let some back of the head shots go if Big John McCartney said that it's okay because he's the one that invented the rules? Huh, Dana White? Anyway, Alex Pereira, he seems like a bad guy. Now look, allegations, I get it. Allegations, wasn't that the name of like an old Motown group, the Allegations? I think it was. ARJR, where are you, bro? I need your backup. I can't remember. That sounds like an old like Motown group. But what a terrible name, huh? The Allegations. But he's been accused of some bad stuff. And he was like a raging alcoholic. And I mean, some of these I'm not trying to like kick a dude. I'm not trying to hit a dude in the back of the head while he's down because he got caught from the cleanest jab you ever seen in your life. I'm not trying to do that. But not only does he have these, I know the past doesn't necessarily make the person. Okay? But he has a pretty bad past. And you know what, when you think about it, I was thinking about this the other day. It's weird that none of us saw this when it happened. But if you're trying to think about whether or not Pereira's a good or bad dude, think about this. He beat Israel Adesanya twice in kickboxing. Now, and look, I didn't even know I was going to talk about this right now in the stream. And so I didn't do, my 100% due diligence before speaking about this right now. If I remember correctly, the narrative is that Adesanya was winning both of those fights, I believe. And then didn't he get knocked out in one of them and another one was a decision? I don't know. I think one of them was a tricky, iffy decision, and some people thought Adesanya won it or it was close. And then the other one, Pereira was losing, then he knocked him out at the end. I'm not sure. I don't know. But anyway, I thought about this the other day for the first time ever. Pereira was 2-0 against this dude. Adesanya had to leave. Adesanya had to flee kickboxing. He had to flee the sport of kickboxing. Just like he had to flee his home country of Africa and go to China and start a new life as a Chinaman so that he could make that money, You remember how he said in that video he wanted to make that Laker money. I've already covered it. It's a real thing. Look it up. He wanted that Laker money. That was his own words. And so instead of letting this dude be happy, this dude had to flee. He had to go get a new life. He had to go get a new name. He had to get a new nationality. He had to get a whole new ethnicity. He had to go full Lilyhammer style. Look into it. It's a good show. And then, okay, I know Adesanya is annoying. He was running his mouth. He spoke up a little too much. But instead of letting it go, instead of knowing, hey, he's licking his wounds, you're 2-0 against him, Pereira says, Shama, I'm going to go use and abuse that dude. I'm going to go find him. I'm going to beat him there. I'm going to take everything he worked for. Like, that's kind of a like a bad guy move. He was already 2-0 against him. Dude had to go start a whole new life. Probably had to buy a new dog. I don't know what the rules are of taking dogs in and out of countries. I don't know if he had a dog. But no, that was before. I was thinking about when he went from Africa to China. But I think he was already in China when he was doing glory. Oh, you know what? If he had a dog in China, there's no way those Chinese dudes let him leave with the dog. Yeah, that dog's gone, if you know what I'm saying. And I refuse to elaborate. I refuse. So you can come to your own assumptions. And if it's inappropriate and if it's racist, that's on you. Yeah. You just learned something about yourself today. Yeah. But that dog never left China. And I think we both know that. So he had to get a new dog. He had to get a new dog even. And Alex Pereira said, I'm going to go beat him there now. That's a bad guy. There was all these accusations, all these allegations, stuff that we saw him do. And then there's this thing. And again, I got to give the credit to No Bromo MMA. He made a video. And I'm sure you guys have already heard the news. Alex Pereira went and did this seminar. And he phoned it in. Like, he literally should have. He should have just done it via FaceTime. He phoned it in. He was mean to everybody. He didn't want to do pictures. He didn't want to do autographs, which was apparently in the contract. He's like, no chama, no chama. And people were upset. Kids were crying. He just refused to do it. He ended the seminar early. He just dipped. He didn't even want to give any kind of love and attention to the people who have made him who he is. Hey, I know your check might say UFC, Alex Pereira, but it wouldn't have ever been printed out if it wasn't for those people rooting for you, buying the pay-per-view, taking the time to customize pairs of shoes for you, little 7, 8-year-old children. Anyway, go watch the video. It's terrible what he did. He just seems like a bad guy. Seems like he doesn't care about anybody. Maybe he's upset. I don't know. I know what. Maybe he's depressed. Maybe he gained too much weight and it messed with his cortisol or whatever. I know I got a little bit chunky. You know, I went out of commission. I got lazy. You know, when you start gaining weight, when you start getting unhealthy, you get depressed. Maybe he's depressed. Maybe he's taking it out on other people. He doesn't know how to regulate his emotions. Maybe he has misplaced anger. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he got hit on the back of the head too many times and he's still concussed. Maybe it's remember when Roseanne Barr, she got hit by a car, she came out, she started speaking French. It does something. I don't even know. I'm sure you guys have anecdotes and stories about that and things you've seen online. It's one of those things that happens. It's a very real thing. You get rocked in the head and it could change you. It could change your personality, which I guess it didn't completely alter his personality in this case, because from all accounts, it appears that he was a dirtbag even before he got brutally, viciously rocked with the cleanest jab I ever seen in my life, and then subsequently was hit with the illegal blows. But yeah, he I don't even know why we started talking about him. Star Viper around that every time zone. Heck yeah. No, I don't watch the World Cup. I'm not like against it. I'm not offended by it. I'm not going to protest it or anything. But I mean, to me, watching the World Cup is like watching like the Wimbledon. I just, you know, I don't even watch Contender Series. I'm definitely not going to watch the World Cup. Torta, where have you been, dude? Torta. Jeez. He's out there collecting tortas like infinity stones. He's staying busy. Regor 9. We are family. Thank you, man. Because I got all my homies with me. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. That's a self-inflicted, in case you guys didn't recognize. That is a self-inflicted from Rigor. Rigor 9. Thank you, man. Thank you for joining the family. Yeah, I think it's going to be, you know what? I'm doing things differently, and maybe I'll elaborate a little bit later because I kind of want to keep the train moving right now. But I think it's going to tend to be more like this in the near future. In today's future. And from this point on, Marloca! OMG, Monday is a fun day. Monday is a fun day. Good to see you here. Thank you. Thank you for coming through. Crinkle Cut France. The only thing I did hear about the Mexico game, which I don't know if people are just biased or what, because I did hear it from a couple Mexicans, you know what I'm saying? But supposedly the referees were British and they had vision about as good as Tomas Aspinall. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but we'll see. I don't know. There you go. There you go, lazy left hand. Iris the Virus. OG right here. Iris the Virus. May Allah bless you, bro. Always appreciate you. Big fist pound. Appreciate the message you're putting out there beyond MMA. Iris the Virus is the only kind of virus that I welcome with arms wide open on my computer. The only kind of virus welcomed on my computer. Thank you so much, Iris the Virus. May God bless you, bro. I appreciate you appreciating me, frankly. Thank you, man. Thank you for being an encouragement. Disco Golf Hutch, the joke was on me. Oof. It cuts deep, bro. It cuts deep. Hey, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people in here that know they get down with the Bee Gees, huh? Oh, there you go, Connor. There you go. Billy the Kidder, what's up? Jessica! You in the office right now? John Morgan, that's his name. Thank you. Thank you, Rigor. Imagine how happy Gain is when he sees most of MMA fans are roasting Aspinall Pereira. Yeah, dude, he's like, they forgot about me. They forgot about me. MMA Onk, what's up, man? I'm feeling better than I have felt in a long time. I'm feeling better than I have felt in a very long time. And I'm confident in what I got going on right now. I'm going to keep moving forward with a determination like I've not had in many years. Pancake Man, what's up? Yeah, but I mean, speaking about it, I was talking about Conor McGregor. I was talking about Alex Pereira. Gable Stevenson. It's, I don't know if you guys watched the Embedded. I don't know if you guys, look, okay. Oh, man, this is tough. I was literally just talking about this the other day. I was just talking about how I never aspired to be a dude that was just sitting here talking about other dudes and their lives, and that I think it's kind of weird. But that's what I'm doing right now, so I guess I gotta do it. And one of the things that I think is fascinating, like beanie blowing, is that now people in here, because of the fact that you're here, probably know about Gable Stevenson. But in case you don't, Gable Stevenson was accused of the same thing as Conor McGregor. And you know what's wild about Gable Stevenson's situation? There was actually case law put into effect specifically because of him. They had to change the law. This is very real. They had to change the law after the fact because he was let go because the law wasn't specific enough to get him. So he slid right through. And they said this could never happen again because it was a very strange, twisted technicality. So he was let go. And immediately they're like, let's change this law. So like retroactively, he wouldn't be fighting today. At least not, I mean, he'd probably be fighting in prison. But he was accused of the same thing and he got away scot-free because of that legal technicality that they now changed. Which is very interesting. And it was funny, MMA On Point made a video about it the other day. They made a... Dude. So they make this video and you could tell by the thumbnail, by the title, and I can't even remember exactly what it was, but as soon as you see the thumbnail and title, you're like, this is bad. And then they're like, well, we're not making any claims here. We're just kind of being, we're not being biased. We're just kind of like right before his big debut on like one of the biggest cards of the year. All this anticipation, MMA On Point releases that video and starts going through that night and the court proceedings and the law and all that and how he would have been behind bars if the law would have been into effect at that point and he got away. But I don't know. Let us know what you think. So it was like whoever wrote that video is like not a Gable Stevenson fan. And they were trying to come after him. But then at the end be like, but we're just trying to be, unbiased about our take. We're just reporting it. But anyway, I thought that was funny. So that came out. I've already known about this. People have known about this. That video, that was funny on Lil 8 Up. So that video came out. So today there was an embedded. This is crazy, dude. If you know about the Gable Stevenson allegations and then you see embedded today, I wrote it down for you. Gable Stevenson said, he said going through life and getting a couple hiccups is all part of the journey. I think he learned how to speak John Jones. I think he went through a course. I think this is John Jones vernacular. Hiccups. Hiccups is a pretty endearing way to put it, if you ask me. I gotta be honest. Going through life and getting a couple of hiccups is all part of the journey. You gotta have some hiccups to get to where you need to go. So, I mean, yeah, he had a couple hiccups. Conor McGregor has had some hiccups. Alex Pereira has had some alleged hiccups. Mike Tyson has had some hiccups. My Tío Beto. You know what I'm saying. And, I mean, again, knowing what those allegations, just look into it. Do your research. Knowing the allegation. It makes me kind of sick, to be honest with you. It makes me feel kind of sick to call them allegations and accusations. Because, again, from what I saw, quite literally, he would have been donezo if the law was already in effect at that point. But there was a weird law in that place at that time, which they've now changed. Which is weird because did they ever appeal John Jones's loss after that illegal elbow thing and that supposedly now remember they were going to do that retroactively? So retroactively. I mean, if the elbow's all good now, does that mean retroactively Gable Stevens, come to your own conclusion. I'm not trying to play the place of the authorities here. But something that I thought was also very, very fascinating on top of that was Greg Jackson. Greg Jackson refused to go to the White House. Now, I don't know if Josh Hogan is still training with Greg Jackson. Frankly, I think he should dump him. I think he should tell that fool to kick rocks. But Greg Jackson refused to attend the White House event with the face of the UFC. He refused to go and support the biggest fighter making the most waves, the most moves, doing the biggest things in the UFC right now because he didn't feel right. He didn't agree with what was going on. He didn't want to be there with those bad people and the things that they may or may not have done. That's not a good look. He didn't want to support that. Well, he's supporting Gable Stevenson. He's training him. He was being interviewed on Embedded talking about Gable Stevenson. And I guess Greg Jackson said if the glove don't fit, you must have quit. I don't know. I don't know if it's just a weird mental technicality, some kind of hoops that he had to jump through I don't know. But I don't understand how you take this stand and you get on your soapbox and you say, I'm not going to do that. I'm above that. I'm better than that. How could I ever? But then he's doing this. Interesting. See, if you really felt that way about the people at the White House, about the people there in attendance, which most of them were military people, what do you think, Greg Jackson? Do you think Epstein was sitting there? Do you think that Jeffrey Epstein was going to be sitting cage side? Everyone knows that Epstein is in Bolivia. Why would he be at Washington, D.C.? You know how much of a pain that would be for him to come back and then have to leave again? So worst case, Greg Jackson, there's some people there that maybe you don't like, right? But you're actually training a dude. You're actually getting hands-on with the dude. You're actually exchanging, you're touching pores with this dude. By osmosis, you're complicit. You're an accomplice. But that's okay. Is it because he's an Olympian? What if Epstein was an Olympian? What if Donald Trump was an Olympian? I think Donald Trump funded the Olympics. Does that count? The hypocrisy is crazy, and I think Josh Hogan should dump him. And by the way, Greg Jackson and Gable Stevenson, we don't need you anymore. Months and months ago, it was all the hype. Oh, this wrestler, Gable and his mentor, John Jones, he's coming in, and the heavyweight division is so boring. It's so boring. It's dead. We need some youth in here. We got Josh Hogan. We don't need you anymore, Gable Stevenson. Oh, but he's a wrestler that was also a football player, and he got his hands. Oh, we talking about Josh Hogan? Yeah, we're talking about Josh Hogan, right? We're not talking about Gable Stevenson. Oh, Gable Stevenson, you took too long. You were that dude that was a wrestler, but that was also a football player, and then he had some hands. Oh, yeah, that's Josh Hogan. He beat you, and he's better at it. And he knows how to cut a promo. He knows how to be. I remember the first time I saw you talking on JRE, Gable Stevenson. That was before I even knew about the allegations. And I was like, why does this dude rub me kind of like Dustin Poirier? Why does he seem like a fake nice guy? Why does something seem off? Why do I feel like John Jones is talking right now? Oh, we don't need you anymore, bro. Greg Jackson, jeez. ARGO! What up, Dojo fam? I made it. Let's go. Have you ever looked into the McGregor situation? I'm torn. Some things make me think he's guilty, and some make me think she wanted money. It's a tricky situation, man. I know I come off as judgmental. I know I come off as a prude. I know I come off as a square. But the moment you introduce alcohol, was it worth it? You wanted to take your liberties? Okay. All things are permissible, but not all things. Okay. I heard you say it a million times. I know. It sounds a little defensive. I get it. Go ahead. Okay, but don't forget all things are permissible. Okay, go ahead then. Go ahead. Call me when you need me to pick you up because your car got towed. The girl. Now listen. Conor McGregor is a notorious, no pun intended, notorious cheater. To me, that's plenty. I don't have respect for people playing that game. I think it just says something about I know people could change. No, the Apostle Paul changed. But I'm saying here and now, like right now, if you're like right now actively like a cheater, you're a scumbag. And don't get offended by that. There's no way you don't know that. Because if you're a cheater, you're probably hiding texts and phone calls and WhatsApps and snaps and DMs. And you wouldn't be hiding those if you didn't know you were a scumbag. You would be going, hey, look, hey, spouse, hey, girlfriend, hey, boyfriend, look, yeah, check it out. The fact that you're hiding it, you know you're a scumbag. So don't get offended. So what I'm trying to say is, I don't even like that. I lose respect for McGregor even from that. But yeah, some of the stuff that they talk about, like the what is it called? The mesh thing or whatever that they like. Obviously, stuff went on. And he even had to come clean because there was no, like, he wasn't even at a point where he could say, I don't even know her, it didn't happen. He had to say it was consensual. But then you see her on video like, ooh, like after, like having the best time of her life. But again, because you would think it'd be cut and dry after that. Oh, you're caught, you're busted. Nobody acts like that after the fact. Well, alcohol. What would make somebody act a way other than what they should be acting like in a given situation because of whatever circumstances? What would cause a person from acting appropriate in a given situation that would be logical and make sense? Alcohol. So I don't know. I could look at her after that supposedly happened and see the footage and be like, she's a liar. But then I have to go, well, I've witnessed people doing and saying things that were insane while they were intoxicated. Logic is off the table when people are intoxicated. So I don't know. Someone could have been coping with something that just happened. Somebody could have not understood the severity of what happened in the moment because senses and feelings are dulled. Adrenaline, whatever. I don't know. And instead of me trying to white knight for Conor McGregor and say, oh, she's a liar and all that, all I ever say is, hey, let's be fair and let's have the same standards. So it's not me ever coming to McGregor's rescue. What I do is like, hey, don't forget, people. This guy, and this guy was accused of that too. How come you guys don't talk about them? So I'm not ever telling people, stop saying that about McGregor. Stop talking about it. I'm saying, hey, as much as you're talking about him, if you're going to do that, you should probably be talking the same amount about these guys. And you got to look within yourself. Why aren't you? What is this bias that you have? Because that happens a lot. Happens a lot. Marluka, bringing them hearts to the chat. Bringing that love to the chat. Corazones verdes. Thank you. I appreciate you. ARJR has just blessed Recon. What's up, Recon? 4863.
We are family.
I love to see it. I love to see it.
Cause I got all my homies with me.
Yeah, it's irrelevant, or it's irrelevant, man. You know what's interesting, bro? He says women can't. Well, I think, by the way, that sounds kind of feminist. How badly that could be taken out of context. It's bro, I'm not trying to come at you. Let me cook, bro. Let me cook. It's irrelevant, man said women can't consent whilst they're drunk. And I said, you sound like a feminist. That sounds really bad, doesn't it? Let me elaborate. Why do you have to put a gender on it? Can men consent while they're drunk? You know? How about we say people can't consent while they're drunk? Anyway, here's what I think is interesting. It's irrelevant, man. I don't know if you knew this. I don't know if that's why you said this. But that was what happened with Gable Stevenson. So long story short, there was this law where this happened with, I think it was Ohio, I don't know. Wherever this happened with Gable Stevenson, there was a law that said, oh man, you'll have to look into this yourself, but from what I remember, here was the law where Gable Stevenson was. If there is a girl and she drinks and she gets really drunk and you guys fornicate, you're good. Because she's an adult and she decided to drink, and that's on her. Now, that's the law. That's not me saying that. That was the law. The law said that. So the way their law was, if it could be proven that you drugged her or you slipped something and you like gave her alcohol and she didn't know it was alcoholic, or you drugged her, whatever, you're busted. You're busted. But if she drank willingly and got intoxicated, you're good. That was the law there. And like the dudes from MMA On Point said in their video, they were like, I can't remember if it was their opinion or if they said that other people were saying this, but the gist was basically people need to look at who made those laws, because it seems like they were up to no good. Now, I don't know if that was like Gable Stevenson's great-grandfather or what. I don't know. But supposedly, they were like, we need to look into those people. Who the heck would make a law like that? But that was the law. Yeah, I know. To be honest with you, Melancholy, I feel the exact same way. I'm just trying to give like the ultimate, probably going a little bit too far benefit of the doubt. I'm going to be honest. Jeez, man. If I'm going to be brutally honest, I would have to say I'm probably leaning on the side that maybe that girl was a little bit full of it. And that she regretted cheating on her boyfriend. And whatever. Now, Conor McGregor is still a dirtbag, cheater, piece of garbage, druggie, whatever. But just because Conor is that doesn't mean that any girl that ever comes into his bubble, no pun intended, is an angel. It's just hard to ignore that footage. Yeah. Also, the last thing I want to touch on before I have to go, because Conor's victim was already on a bender. It's fact. She came out of Conor's room all happy, but her injuries are also irrefutable. No one brings up she could have been assaulted later while blacked out. Jeez, man. Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, that's what I think. And I know it's not the popular thing to say because you're just supposed to 100% side with the victim no matter what, I guess. But, yeah, that's faulty. I mean, Amber Heard exists. We can't forget that. I wanted to talk about one last thing today, and that is Dustin Poirier. He came out on an interview with Diary of a CEO. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It's a pretty popular. I mean, it has all the favor of the algorithm. Very popular podcast, very popular YouTube channel. And Poirier came out on that today. I saw it this morning when I woke up. And it seems like he's trying to do some damage control. And he's, showing pockets of remorse here and there, pockets of excuses here and there as well, pockets of delusion. And one of the things that he was very focused on, and it was probably the main thing, it was kind of the highlight of this podcast, was Poirier's dad. And how he was really bummed out about the state of his dad right now. And I think a lot of people saw the footage of Poirier and they knew that it was on Father's Day and they were like, are you kidding me? Poirier, what are you doing? It's Father's Day? You're a father. Why are you acting like this? You're not acting very fatherly on Father's Day. Why aren't you at home being a father? Why are you even at the airport? So I think that was the default. People hear Father's Day. They know he's a father. They're like, why would you do this? So he spinned it. And I'm going to be honest with you. When I first heard this, when he first rattled it off in the podcast, I was like, oh, is he going to say something that makes me feel bad right now? Is he going to make me feel bad for him? And he threw something in there that I didn't expect. He started talking about his dad. Over here, I hear Father's Day, which I think a lot of us did. And I'm thinking of him as the father. But he started talking about his dad. And he was talking about how his dad is actually homeless. Now, I don't know if some of you guys already knew this, and this is old news. Dustin Poirier's dad is apparently homeless, literally. And he even showed a picture of his dad to the guy because they kind of know where he is and they go check up on him and they're trying to help him. They're trying to put him into like rehab or something, but they have a hard time getting a hold of him and he doesn't want to go. And I guess he showed a picture to the guy and he had like no shirt on, no shoes. So he's probably not getting any service anywhere. I don't even know how he eats. So he's out there just roaming around, and apparently he's like in his 70s, if I understood that correctly. I guess he had Poirier kind of late. And he's homeless. So that was the focus. My dad, I was thinking about my dad on Father's Day, and it was getting me depressed because my dad, and that's why I started drinking, and I was upset because my dad's homeless, and it's sad. And there was a moment where I was like, dude, you kind of switched it up on me, because I was over here thinking you're a bad father, and I didn't realize, bro, you're still a kid. No matter how old you are, you're still always someone's kid. And he's over here just being kid Poirier, thinking about his dad being homeless. He's depressed. He starts drinking, and you know what was so weird? And then that's where he started to lose me very early. Very early, he starts telling the diary of a CEO guy, you know, we try to help my dad, but he just doesn't want to listen, man. He just doesn't want to get help. He doesn't want to stop drinking. And I don't know, he just doesn't want to do better for himself. It's so frustrating. And I'm like, are you serious? Dude, it doesn't take Alanis Morissette to see the irony in the situation, Dustin. He is telling the dude, while he's on this podcast having to do damage control, talking about, you know, his situation because he can't stop drinking. He's coming on Theo Vaughn's podcast months ago, JRE months or years ago, talking about drinking, blaming it on the alcohol. And he's saying, I don't know what to do when I'm not fighting. I'm a danger to myself. It's bad. I don't know what to do. And now he's saying, my dad, I don't know why he can't stop. He doesn't want to stop. He doesn't want to be a better man. I don't know. We try to help him. He doesn't want to listen. And it's like, oh, no. And all he's doing is passing the blame. And I was talking about this very, very recently when I was talking about Poirier. And I was saying, you can't just always fall back on that. You can't say, well, I'm this because my dad was this. I had no choice. I had no shot in life. Because there's people who grow up and they have a terrible home life, terrible situation. And then, yes, they become that and they keep perpetuating it and the cycle continues. And then there's other people where they live through that and they say, never again, I won't be that. And they do the opposite. Poirier, you cannot just say, that's my dad, therefore I'm this. That's not how it works. It's not a carbon copy. You don't just become exactly who your dad is with no variation. You don't just become exactly who your dad is with no possibility of, you know, your own individuality. Have you seen Dwayne Wade's son? There's no excuse, Poirier. There's no excuse for something like this. And it was very unbecoming because it wasn't just something that happened to get sprinkled in to a little part of the conversation and then they moved on to other things. It was the focal point. They talked about the dad at the beginning, the middle, the end. The whole thing was pretty much trying to anchor this on the dad. And he said, you know, I was on my way to work. So I don't know if that means deep waters. I don't know if that's work, his primary job at the moment. But he said where he was going, he had already done the father's stuff with his daughter and she made him a card and stuff like that, whatever, spent time with her. He said he was on his way to work now. Now, I could understand that. You know, I've done the 9 to 5. I've done the 7 a.m. to the 10:30 p.m. in car sales. I could empathize. You guys do the 9 to 5. You know how it is. We could probably all understand ourselves on that commute on the way to a place that we hate and don't want to be, saying it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. I could understand getting to that place mentally. That's why people get road rage. That's why people pull over and start swinging car jacks at people's windshields because they hate their jobs. So I could understand that. If you wouldn't have mentioned your dad, I might have had some more sympathy for you because he was on his way to deep waters. And very interestingly, another thing I saw, I just got flooded with this stuff when I woke up this morning. One of the things I saw in my recommendations when I woke up on YouTube was the Deep Waters podcast. And guess what? There was no Poirier. I don't know how many of you watch the Deep Waters podcast. Some people make fun of it. A lot of people like it. I was kind of surprised how many people are taking to it. And you know what? I know I make a lot of fun and I roast and pick at things here and there. But it's nice every once in a while to see people actually embrace things in the MMA community. The MMA community is so negative and pessimistic most of the time. It's nice to actually see people be positive about something. And it was on this morning and no Poirier. I mean, they changed the whole set, man. They got his chair out of there, squeezed him in. Just got the trifecta now. I don't know if they're going to make room. I don't know if he's ever coming back. I saw people in the chat saying, bring him back. Where is he? And I saw at least one person say, if you're like, you know, those people, if he comes back, I'm unsubscribing because somebody that does that doesn't deserve to have a job. You know, that's always a tricky one. If you do something bad and you're a bad person, do you not deserve to work? That's a fascinating one. Like when Dana slapped his wife, everyone wanted him to get fired. And it's like, should he have slapped his wife? First of all, she slapped him first. So fire her too. But if you do something and you show you're a bad guy or a bad lady, you're fired? I don't know. Where's the lines? I don't know. Like if you do something bad enough, then you're incarcerated. Then by default, you lose your job. But the punishment being losing a job, like just losing a job, that's an interesting one. That's a very interesting one. Now, if it turns out that you beat animals, yeah, then you shouldn't work at the zoo. But like if Dana White slaps his wife and he works like at Foot Locker, you gonna fire him? I don't know. That's a tough one. But I wanted to point out that I thought that it was very interesting that Poirier did this podcast. Of all people, of all podcasts. I mean, maybe he wanted to get out of that bubble a little bit, but there's so many MMA podcasts he could have went on. There's people who are just flat out journalists. There's people who are retired fighters. And even aside from that, more secular, mainstream, whatever, he could have went with whatever else. But Diary of a CEO, and I was like, how did this collab happen? How do these guys even know each other? And I don't know if you have seen Diary of a CEO. He's black. So I couldn't help but think that maybe part of his damage control was doing a podcast with a black guy. After, he said, it's going to be bad, my black guy. I don't know if that was part of trying to undo that moment at the airport. Because we all know that he's homies. He's like best buds with Theo Von. Another dude from Louisiana. But Theo Von's not black. But one of the things that I think is weird is I feel like a white dude from Louisiana is basically a black dude. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if there's people from Louisiana here. But I feel like that's very fair to say. A white dude from Louisiana is basically a black dude. The irony is that Daniel Comer, DC, is actually from Lafayette, Louisiana, like Poirier. And he is one of the whitest black dudes that I think we have in the MMA community. So I heard Dustin Poirier say, it's going to be bad, my black dude. It's going to be bad, and he said he's used a N-word. And you know what? I said it. Look, I'm not a big fan of that. I'm on it. I said it before, and there was a couple people that I don't think believe me, which is a weird thing to not believe. Because I told people I don't think I've ever used the N-word unless I was like 6 years old and I learned it, and I was like, what does it feel like to say this? It's never been organic to me. And there were a couple people that were like, yeah, right, of course. And I'm like, dude, if you can't believe that I haven't said it, how many times do you say it? Like you're in disbelief that that someone has never said it? That's unbelievable to you? But what I'm saying that to say that when Poirier said it, I could tell the way he said it. Oh, this is the way that he says it to his homies. This is the way that he would say to his mom, It wasn't like a confrontational way. The ironic thing is when I hear DC use the N-word, I feel like it's a hate crime. I don't know how to explain that. Explain it to me if you get it. But when I heard DC say it when he was talking with John Jones, it felt like a slur. It felt wrong. So I don't know. I'm trying to express that I thought it was interesting that he did this podcast with the black dude after the whole it's going to be bad, my black dude. So I think maybe that was part of it, because he could have went on Theo Von's podcast and he could have had his Sean Strickland moment. He could have sat there crying and got emotional, had the clip and all that, but he didn't. Maybe it wasn't the time for some white on white emotion. I don't know if he has a PR person. I don't know if it was his wife. I don't know if it was Dean Thomas, but someone probably encouraged him. You got to do this with a black dude. And one of the things that he told the Diary of a CEO guy is he hasn't watched the video and he refuses to. He doesn't want to. He's like, what good's that going to do? And he sounds like Jamal Hill. Remember Jamal Hill? What I learned? Huh? When he went full Russell Westbrook? What? Remember Jamal Hill? I made a video about it. It was after his fight with, after Pereira? I can't remember. He was like, to learn? What am I going to learn? What do you think I'm going to learn from my last fight? Huh? You think fighters learn stuff from previous fights? Is that how you think fighting works? Made himself look like an idiot. He thought he was having his Allen Iverson moment. Huh? You talking about practice? You talking about practice? He's like, what? You think that fighters actually watch tape and learn from their past mistakes to get better? Huh? Huh? Who learned you how to journalism? Huh? Stupid. So Poirier's on there saying, I haven't watched it. What do I got to watch it for? What do I got to learn from it? Dude, you're a fighter. You should know more than anybody about watching tape, making adjustments, getting better, growing, working on your technique, like, what things not to say at airports. And he's like, he refuses to watch it. And the way that he articulates it makes it even worse. What do I have to learn from that? Just about everything. Just about everything. The final thing that he said that I thought was significant is he was talking about how depressed he is now because he doesn't have fighting to look forward to. He doesn't have that outlet anymore. He doesn't have, and I think we could all relate to that. I've talked about that in the past. I remember how that was when I was younger. Like, oh, I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna feel like I've arrived when I have my own car. And you get a car, it's like, ugh. Well, now I gotta get a job. I gotta pay for gas. Okay, when I get a job, I'm gonna feel cool. Like teenagers, they want a job. They want to grow up too fast, and they don't realize that adults wish they were kids again. Grass is always greener on the other side, and then you get there and you realize it's artificial turf. But that's for another video. And then you get a house and you're like, this is going to fulfill me. And they're like, oh man, there's a lot that goes into that. And blah, blah. And then you get whatever. And so like you have stuff that you think is going to fill that hole, that's going to fulfill you. And that's just the wrong way to approach life. That, materialism, consumerism, whatever it is, making your goals your idols. Trying to fill that God-shaped hole with ungodly things, But that's for another video. It's for another channel that I'm still working on. But he was talking about how he loved fighting. And he loved it. And he went to sleep thinking about it. And he thought about it constantly. It was his life. And he loved it. And then I remember talking about him telling DC after the Conor fight, I don't love this no more. I'm not in love with this no more. You guys remember that? It was a big deal. When he's on the cage, I don't love this no more. I'm not in love with this no more. Like, I don't care. I don't want to do this no more. I'm done. I think I'm done. I don't love this no more. And now, it was all I loved. It was my whole life. That kind of sounds like someone when they have some kind of addiction, when they have some kind of problem. What do level-headed people talk about? Underlying. There's something underlying. It's not about your love or your lack of love for the thing that you're doing. What is making you need to chase stuff constantly? What is so unfulfilling about your life? Because when you're not fighting, you think you romanticize it and you think of the past and you think I loved it, but when you were there, you didn't love it. So what is it that's really underneath all of that? Is it something that's always going to be there to be desired with his dad? Maybe if he got his dad off the streets and he got clean. and he was safe and he was healthy and he was happy and he had like a grandpa kind of relationship with Poirier's kids, would everything be better? I don't know. Maybe. But Poirier, I mean, it's unfortunate because it would be great if his dad would do that, but Poirier has to take control of his own life because he's not in control of that variable. So what? You're going to be a bad dad to your own kids if you can't get your dad in order? You can't live like that. I don't know. He keeps talking about help. He keeps saying how things are going to be bad, but I don't know if he actually goes and gets help. I do remember now that I'm saying it that he was getting help at one point, and then when he felt like he was getting better, he stopped. So it's basically like I was getting in shape, I was working out, and then I started to see some abs. So then I started eating peaks on donuts again every day. Listen, I don't want to seem fake right now. I know this doesn't seem like an appropriate time to say it, but I don't want to seem fake. So I'll say again that I've never liked Poirier. I've never liked him. I've always thought he seemed disingenuous. I thought he seemed fake, like a fake nice guy. But maybe it's because he really has been trying to be a nice guy while being unbelievably tormented. Hopefully he does figure it out. Hopefully this experience was a blessing in disguise. And whether it's from pressure from his wife, and rightfully so, or whoever else around him, his kids, his daughter being embarrassed or sad or scared or whatever, maybe this whole situation was necessary, super necessary, if you will, to get him on the right track and get him better. What I would encourage Poirier to do, if that is the case and if that helps, what I would encourage Poirier to do is if there's any way, and I know it's a long shot, if there's any way that he could get his dad intoxicated, take him to an airport and get him to use a racial slur. That could be the blessing in disguise that his father needs to get clean. I'm just spitballing. ARJR! Say 6, let's go! Oh my gosh, we already met the goal. We met the goal. I'm barely at 6 and we met the goal. Oh, thank you, ARJR. Marloka has just blessed Krieger. Krieger is now in the family. He has his green card. Thank you, Marloka. ARJR with the membership for Michael Ramirez. Thank you, ARJR. Marloka supporting that donation. Marloka with another one for numero 8. Marloka with some hearts, bringing that love to the stream. Thank you, Marloka. ARJR say let's go. And that's the end of the goal. Thank you. Thank you, ARJR. Thank you for getting us there, man. ARJR blessing Dark Alley Recordings. Dark Alley Recordings very much deserves it. Very loyal to the channel. Thank you, ARJR. ARJR just blessed somebody with a name that I can't read. Huh? Thank you, ARJR. Thank you, man. The official recruiter of the MMA, Mexican martial arts. Oh, Hoser, the relationship goals. Self-inflicted. The self-inflicted are greatly respected in this community. Greatly respected. Marloka, blessing first, last. The first shall be last. 'Cause I got all my homies with me. Heck yeah, thank you. Marloka. Marloka's been a member for 41 months. Flexing. ARJR has blessed Eduardo Gutierrez. Thank you, ARJR. ARJR blessing Mellow Shadows. What is happening? Thank you, ARJR. Welcome, Mellow Shadows. Juicebox in that house. It's always such a blessing to see Juicebox. Heck yeah. And we got Marloka blessing Typical Skeptic Podcast. We are family. 'Cause I got all my homies with me. Thank you, Marloka. Listen, I feel kind of bad about this stream because I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like it. This should be no surprise. I don't like it. Yeah, I know how that feels, Max Bluestein. I feel like we all, and I'm sure you're saying that for a reason. I feel like we all have people in our lives where we wanted the best for them and they didn't, and it hurts. I feel bad about this stream. I had a lot that I wanted to talk about. And hopefully, the stuff that I was talking about was good and informative and entertaining. But I don't like that I didn't really spend as much time as I wanted interacting with the chat. And now I'm 3 minutes late to my recording with Moss because we're shooting the hit show, the Moss and Jesse show, right now. So I'm gonna go shoot that right now. It's my goal. That after that, I'll come back and stream a little bit again. So hopefully that works out if we're wrapped up early enough. But thank you for being here. Hoser the guy has just, Hoser the guy, Hoser the gal, Hoser the power couple has just blessed Dennis Mahady.
We are family. 'Cause I got all my homies with me.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hoser the power couple, always beautiful to see you. Beautiful. Listen, I'm going to try my best to come back in a little bit. Oh, F-bomb. I will do. Hey, I'll ask him for you, bro. All right. Thank you guys for being here. Please keep an eye out for me a little bit later. I'm going to try to come back out later. Thank you for being here. And by the way, I plan on streaming more during this time from now on, during the work hours. Kind of like, easy listening music, soft rock 98.9, just something in the background, Thank you, Afro Ninja. Thank you everyone for supporting. Thank you, Hoser the relationship. I don't want to be a bad dude. I don't want to upset Mr. Moss. So I'm gonna dip out right now. Thank you for being here. Thank you for meeting the goal. Thank you for your time. Keep an eye out for when I pop back up again soon. Have a good work day. And if you're not, go get